Hey everybody, welcome back to the Spinner Rack. This is Mars here. I'm here with my boys, Petey and Cal. Say what's up, gents.
What's going on?
Yeah, we're ready to rock. Even though he doesn't remember us,
What do you mean?
you got some other boys now, right?
No, man. You guys are my
No, everybody saw that too. I'm here with my boys. Who?
Right.
Petey and Cal.
There's
Petey and
always an
Cal. Yeah.
awkward pause with the name.
Yeah, got something working on the side, right? As usual. As usual. Up to something.
Not at all, not at all. Hey, so today we're going to be talking about, the big controversy about Marvel versus DC in the film we are seeing here in the worldwide box office right now. Superman reigns supreme. That is right. They had finally defeated not one, but two Marvel movies, three Marvel movies.
Three.
Right?
Four.
Three.
Captain America, Thunderbolts, and Fantastic Four.
Oh, yeah. I'm counting F1 is another Marvel movie. I'm thinking F1 is F4.
So I'm here to talk to the boys and say, hey guys, what is your take on this? That finally DC, other than the Batman movie, of course, has finally bested Marvel. And what do you think that with Marvel coming out with all these films at the same time? I open the floor to our resident expert, Petey himself. Hit us with it.
I was going to chime in anyway, but thank you. I just want to say I wanted to bring this up because ultimately, Marvel with their Captain America, Civil War undercut Batman versus Superman, and obviously you can say the Civil War was the better movie of the two, but they basically said, hey, let's cut out our Captain America and the Serpent Society, which we ultimately saw in Brave New World. Elements of those would have been in that. They said, you know what, they've been undercutting DC all the time, and now they did it with the Fantastic Four, a big press, ultimately this is a celebration of the Fantastic Four. They have I didn't get to see it, I didn't stay to the end, a tribute to Jack Kirby, they say, and so with all this celebration and the movie saying thank you Fantastic Four, and Marvel saying this is their first family, Superman still killed them. It's killing them right now. It's killing them out there. Look at that. That's crazy. Look at that. It's not catching it. It's not catching. It's not gonna. They're not gonna catch him. Fantastic Four not gonna catch Superman. That is the crazy thing. Marvel. We have to say something about it because we've been done tons of things. We pointed out how Marvel has killed DC all these years, and Marvel. The Fantastic Four first step is a misstep in comparison to the Superman movie. This is no cap. This is all about the fact that it is number 7 in the movies, and people go to, well, it's not number 1. Don't have to be. All it needs is Superman in the superhero realm for it to beat the Marvel movies. And this is say, Marvel, you need to get right. You were the top contender, you had the honors, and the next thing you know now what happened. It's a shame. It's a shame. They had the top honors. You know they had the top honors, Mars. I'm sorry. I'm not that against Marvel. I'm just saying, hey, make some better movies. That's all I have to say.
Wow, what a vitriol there.
Yeah, when we look at the numbers, and I'm looking at the numbers, I wish you could see the smile on my face, the glee that I have at this point. Because yes, it's been 17 years. And mind you, I'm not a DC versus Marvel fan. I'm not a DC versus Marvel fan. I grew up reading both. I like both. I have favorite Marvel superheroes. I have favorite DC superheroes, but my favorite superhero above all is Superman. Okay, he just happens to be with DC. That's just how that works. But it's been 17 years. These guys have been trolling on DC, can't get it together. DC didn't do themselves any favors. And the great irony is that Marvel shot themselves in the foot in a similar way that DC shot itself in the foot. Like coming out of Man of Steel. You made a bad Man of Steel movie and you never self-corrected. You never said, hey, we got to come at this movie differently and this character differently. And instead, you tried to literally leapfrog right to to Avengers money. Man of Steel was for the money. That was a court order. And then you just kept in that same thing. That's how Batman got in the second movie. But if we look at these numbers here, and if you're a DC fan, strictly a DC fan, I know you're feeling good. It's been 17 years. Hey, yuck it up, live it up. You waited a long time. You lived to see this day. Great. But if we just look at the numbers, you look at Superman at 588. There is no Marvel movie that's close. He's ahead. He's ahead by over $100 million. He's ahead by nobody's catching him. Okay, up and away. Nobody's catching him. Nobody's catching him. And then if you go over And you look at the domestic. Okay, the domestic is even more telling because he was Superman as a movie was very strong domestically. I'm surprised at how strong it was domestically against a film like Jurassic World Rebirth because that's a kid friendly movie. I love those movies. Want to just go see dinosaurs kill people, and Superman, okay, is outpacing Jurassic World Rebirth by about $4 or $5 million too. So very very strong at home. The only place you can hit it is domestically, but even then, you got to give that to Jurassic World, which was not didn't have a dog in this fight. That's a totally different film genre. We're just going to look at the superhero stuff. None of these guys are there. So, two lessons to be learned: one, don't mess with Superman, and two, when you have a good thing, don't shoot yourself in the foot. Since Endgame, they treated that movie too literally, like it was the end. They have shot themselves in the foot multiple times and also aimed at their toes. Now here you are. Because I thought Fantastic Four was a good general audience, crowd pleasing movie. People like the four quadrant stuff. I didn't see any problem with it along those lines. The people came out the first weekend, said whatevers, and the next weekend you have a precipitous drop. And I can understand that with maybe Brave New World, which a lot of people didn't particularly care for. Thunderbolts, no problem. But I thought Fantastic Four altogether was a much more solid movie. And the audience is just like, no, no, no. And it's not. Superman also shows there's no fatigue. There's no fatigue when it comes to superhero movies, but you do have a resistance of coming out to watch these movies if they don't believe this movie is going to be rewarding. Because the movie experience is a much more expensive experience. People have the option of streaming, which they didn't have. And so you might come and see a lot more interest for Fantastic Four or any of these movies. I saw Thunderbolts and Captain America Brave New World for streaming. It couldn't get me out. They just couldn't get me out of the house. I only saw Fantastic Four in the theaters because I saw Superman and I was like, hey, I wouldn't mind seeing this one in the theaters as well. That's the only reason why they got me out. So these are things that these guys should want to take into account. And hey, DC, take your victory lap, run around, wave your flag. You waited 17 years for this moment. You earned it.
All right, I'm gonna have to bring some hardcore reality to this whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So, whole argument with the whole, I hate hearing this whole thing with Captain America, Brave New World. People didn't like it. Yet you see the numbers; it did beat Thunderbolts, and Fantastic Four is still marginally better, right? It wasn't that bad of a movie, and I think that's a whole nother argument that we can get into. But let's talk about Superman. The reality is, I think it's done fantastic in this present environment that it's in. I saw the movie in the movie theater, loved it.
How many times have you seen it?
I've seen it multiple times. I'm not going to say
How many times? How many times?
Yeah.
Answer the question. How many times?
We're close to 3 times now, right? So it's
You're behind me. I saw it 4 times.
right. So the point of the matter is, because I mean, I gone with different groups who all wanted to see it at the time. So it is an enjoyable movie. It's definitely a movie that connects with people at different levels. From the hardcore Superman fans to people who just want to see a movie that's enjoyable. And I think it's doing well. But we have to see the glaring issue that we're having here with Superman. And you see the foreign numbers are low, right, relative to the domestic. Normally, that's a little bit more on the reverse side. You don't have as much domestic, but that's a good thing. I mean, if you look at F1, the movie is the opposite. It's completely 180 domestic, and the rest of it is international. That's national because that's a Formula One. It's not NASCAR, right?
Can I chime in though?
Yeah, go ahead. Knock this nonsense. Knock this nonsense out of the park.
Let me finish the point I'm trying to make. Though.
All right.
You don't have any point. You don't have any point to make.
I'm going to say 2 words here.
You have no point to make it all. No point. I'm gonna shred as soon as I get my chance. I'm gonna shred this. Go ahead.
So I have right in front of me the box office performance for the entire Superman franchise, and I'll just read it to you so you guys know. So the franchise, the number 1 Superman movie there ever was, came in at $874 million, and that was Batman, Superman, Dawn of Justice. In the modern times, let me just qualify.
That is not a Superman movie. That's not a Superman movie.
Well, they put it down as a Superman franchise. The second highest grossing Superman movie of all time in the modern time period was Man of Steel with $670 million. at the rate that current Superman, which I did like a lot, and I've seen it multiple times, it's not going to reach the $670 million.
Yeah, see, I'm ready for you. I knew you would come with this nonsense. I
Man,
knew you would come with this nonsense. I'm ready for you.
I'm talking facts. I'm talking black and white. We're not even.
You're not talking any facts. I got your facts.
All right, let me.
I got your facts.
I want to go to your. I want to go to your foreign statement, right?
Yeah. Handle them. We already talked about this. Handle it.
But F1 is, as he said, 400 million. I'd also go to a Mission Impossible. That is almost 400 million. But those have who? The biggest movie stars ever, Tom Cruise and Brad Pitt. Now look at the foreign for this. It's more than the domestic for all the Marvel movies and more the domestic and the foreign for all the other Marvel movies. So it's beating both of their numbers.
Look at this. Has more international. Thunderbolts has more international. Fantastic Four is the one that does.
Dude, you're not even looking at your own numbers.
Look at the numbers.
F1. Look at F1. Look at F1. Look at the domestic on F1. Look at the domestic on F1.
We're talking about the superhero movies. We're saying
no. You're the one who brought up this nonsense. You're the one who brought up that nonsense, and you didn't even look at your own numbers. Look at the domestic. Look at the domestic. Yeah. Okay. Now let's look at the. Hey, no. Go up. Scroll up.
I did.
Let's look at. Scroll up so we can just see the top 10. Scroll up.
Top 10. Okay.
Okay. Scroll up. Okay. Who has the top 3 domestic here?
Top 3 domestic here?
Yeah, top 3 domestic.
The top 3 domestic are
Minecraft, Lilo and Stitch, Superman.
No, Jurassic
World. No,
nope.
Jurassic World is not. It is not. Superman domestically has.
All right. So anytime you want to bring up international, I'm just going to slap you to the ground with domestic. Anytime you want to bring up an international, I'm going to slap you to the ground with domestic. And what's more, that's why I was saying he was remarkably strong domestically, because in certain cases, hey, Superman did double domestically what some of these guys might have done internationally. So we already know.
Yes.
I agree with you. I'm just bringing up the fact that the overall box office, unfortunately, Superman was not able to connect as well internationally as it did.
We got reasons. No, because you guys like to say that stuff. You like to say it without context.
I'm giving context.
What's the context then? What's the context? Let me hear it. If you didn't say that before, what's the context?
The blip?
The what?
The blip?
What are you talking
The Marvel blip?
for?
Our blip.
The Marvel blip.
The blip.
Okay, all right. So, okay, we don't have to listen to him anymore. This guy's talking about the blip like he disappeared for 5 years. Okay, which sometimes I wish did happen. So, that being said, we already know that Superman, okay, Superman is not the popular character when it comes to these films and promotion. That's Batman. All right, Warner Brothers DC has done a great job of promoting Batman to the exclusivity of other characters, or rather, full out ignoring the other characters. I already said more than once, Man of Steel was not a film where people got together and said, hey, let's make a Superman movie. Man of Steel was a film where a judge said, if you don't make a Superman movie, we're going to give these rights back to the heirs. And so they had to go over there and do that. Oh, by the way, Superman, the current movie, has outgrossed Man of Steel domestically. So yes, you can do that. You can put that one in your cap as well. So now,
but you see, you just
no. Hold on. No, I wasn't done. I was not done. Thank you very much. Thank you. I appreciate that. So now you have to come in here. You have the baggage of Man of Steel. You have the debacle of Batman v Superman, Justice League. You have the entire DCEU as a bad brand. Okay, this is a bad brand to the point they were like, all right, we got to stop. We got to start over again. Okay, we have to stop and start over. So this is going to be our opening movie. So this has to be taken holistically as a fresh start. So you don't have any coattails. You don't have any, Superman doesn't have international coattails like, say, a Batman movie, which has been well received for the last 15, 20 years. He's pretty much starting fresh. He's going on his own. The other thing that you have to contend with is that Superman is synonymous with the United States of America, which also has pretty bad branding right now internationally. So you got people over here who are like, I don't know if I want to come out to this. And I already said this to Petey. They don't want to say truth, justice, and the American way in the movies because they're like, oh, we may offend some people. We don't want people to, come over here and think it's jingoistic. But the people seem to know that Superman is synonymous with America. So I don't know why you're running away from it. Why don't you just do a good movie and do some good promotion? And then maybe do some Superman-like stuff in reality, and you wouldn't have this particular issue. But the bottom line is there's a reason for the international, and I'm positive, based on how well this movie did this go around, you will see more positive numbers with the international going forward. Okay, because you had a bad brand in DC, you had a bad brand in Superman, you got a bad brand in the United States right now. Superman is still over here, not even chugging along. My man said up and away. Good strong numbers at the end of the day. You've got nothing to stand on right now. Okay, you're just a hater, and I'm ready for you. What else you got?
Hey. I'm just saying we saw the facts. And
I like your tone now. That's better, more respectful.
Like I said, it was a good movie. And since we had the pandemic, I think we have to reassess how we recalculate the money.
I agree. Hey,
the same way.
I'm not trying to cut you off, but can you speak more to that point that you just said right there with the pandemic? I think that's important for people to understand.
Yeah, I mean, the pandemic, people are not going out to the movies that they once did, right? We have to understand that. It's not quite the same. And the experience, a lot of people don't do. I know personally people that I know who've stopped going out to movies at all. They prefer to just watch it at home, especially this whole streaming revolution. You've seen that occur. People they're waiting. On top of the length of time it takes from movie out in the studio, out in the theaters until you get home, it's such a short period. People are not willing to waste the time and spend the amount of money it costs to go to a film. I mean, how much is it right now? What, $20 to see a film?
It is
a standard.
I don't know because I when I went out, I only saw like IMAX because I said if I'm going to leave my house, I want a really good experience. I want to like have those reclining chairs. Otherwise, I'm not going to be bothered. I mean, but those are $30 seats. Those are $30 seats.
Well, then stand corrected. But I'm saying here in New York, like $25 for some of those. And if you do the 4DX, I mean, you're talking about $30. So it becomes pricey, especially when you're talking about a family of four. That's $120 right there alone without even getting popcorn stuff.
What are you talking about? What is the issue? Saying you're trying to say the struggle with going to the movies when people going to see F1, they're going to see F1, which isn't it's like a Steve, it's not full on Steve McQueen, but it's basically inside racing thing with a little more flash to it.
No, it was a great movie. I saw F1.
I'm not saying it's not great. I'm just saying it's more on the back of Brad Pitt and his stardom now being a superstar. So like you have that, you have we can't, when we see the Marvel movies and say, well, the movie audiences aren't coming out to see this, when you can the more family oriented thing, or the Jurassic Park, even though it's not doing as well as the ones before it, because it doesn't have Chris Pratt and Bryce Dallas Howard in it, which was the key line between the earlier ones. There's a whole new cast, but at the same time, we have to deal with the market we have here, and Superman is right now in the top 10. Marvel has 2 in there, luckily, so they're still in there. But at the same time, the bragging rights is what we're kind of talking about, which we've given Marvel, rightfully so, because they've made tons of great movies. They've had some that have been off that we've talked about, but they always have been successful or have at least a tone of a watchable movie, but we just felt they went the wrong way. And whether we might have some issues or not, we do have to celebrate the success of having a Superman movie, not having to do a thing where, we had to look at it and say they did it for this reason, or we did it for that. We just have a Superman movie. He's leading the new movies, and he did the Superman movie, and he's keeping the old Batman stuff that they're doing, but he's doing his own Batman thing in the Cape Crusaders or the Dynamic Duo, whatever that movie is. But yeah, we got to celebrate this because it could, if the way that they have Marvel has some stuff coming up next, which is what they have like Doomsday, which is going to be big. They got another Spider-Man movie coming, so Marvel is they're going to try to break the bank also.
Yeah, but look, like we were just saying before, Petey. I mean, 2019 was a high watermark for all movies, right? you had what, 9 movies or 10 movies that were over $1 billion, right? That's before the
2019.
2019, and then everything crashed after that, right? I mean, since then, I think before that probably we're averaging like $5 billion movies, but now it's like 2 or 3 at the max, and that's I mean, if you want to even throw in a Minecraft, but you have to understand is that the market has changed.
Yeah,
People don't really
that's
go outside anymore,
that's
especially.
where this market should be. I don't think. I mean, come on. I don't honestly think any movie should be making $5 billion. You know, I don't. I have never seen any movie that was that that was that good. $5 billion, especially in today's day and age when you have all this other stuff to do. $5 billion worth of tickets being sold. I mean, yeah. If it was a different time period, I don't. Those numbers were astronomical and inflated. They just were. They just were. People were having a good time going to the movies, not something that could actually last. So I think these numbers are, I think a number like what Captain America pulled is a healthy number for a film. Okay. You just have,
Yeah.
I just don't think you can go into it making like you can't go into it, but we're going to sink in 250 million thinking we're going to make $1 billion like we used to. Okay. If you're going to put in that much money, you're definitely going to have to make certain that your money is made back on the film, or you have to lower your budgets, on to some extent. But I think those numbers, like a $400, $500 movie, that's fine. What was this movie? How much money did it cost to make Sinners? Does anybody remember? It's like was it 60 million or something?
Yeah, I don't think it was that much.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Might have been like 38 million. And then you look at the returns. That's all you want to do. It's like, okay, how much money do we need to actually make this movie? Okay. And, I'm not talking about like cutting a budget, more like trimming the fat. Like, okay, what's the stuff that we don't really need?
The budget was between 90 to 100 million. So, but it made almost 3.5 times what it cost. So,
All right. So, man, the numbers are way off. My numbers are way off on that one. But yeah, that's what you want to do. Like, how much money do we actually need to, do we actually need to make this movie? Where is it going to go? How much can we look for it? And then if we luck out and we get like a really good response to it, yeah, I think $1 billion. Remember when Avengers hit $1 billion? That was a big deal. That was a big deal. It hit $1 billion. Like, wow, that was supposed to be something that was astronomical. And I remember before then, what was the big number? The movie made 100 million. So the idea that, the idea that movies were going to continuously going up, 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 up is ridiculous. We all know what goes up is going to come down. And I think where it's down is pretty much where it should be.
but here's a question for you right here. And Cal and Pete, probably Pete, you could answer this one. Are we in superhero fatigue? Or as we were saying, is it the market has changed?
It's superhero bad movie fatigue. Because
Yeah,
at the same time, you have these four movies that have all basically new actors and new talent in the movies. So to have these four, basically, the Thunderbolts one is totally unknown. Captain America and Fantastic Four have been done before. To obviously Captain America more success, and Fantastic Four less success. And you have Superman that had decent success with Man of Steel, with this all new properties that haven't been like, except for Captain America, been huge. And that's, if we look at it from that vantage point, these are doing well. These are doing well for this sort of thing. There's not bringing in Chris Evans, not bringing in the Fantastic Four. Hasn't had a big blowout success. So we have some success for the period. The idea of fatigue, I want to say the last thing I'll say is, the idea of fatigue is that there's just been so many bad movies that why don't people just blindly go to the movies now? Like, well, if you keep putting out a bad movie, you're gonna get this response. You're gonna keep putting out a bad Star Wars movie, you're gonna get a lack of response on the third movie, or less. Not it wasn't lack, but less. So I think the fact of it is that it's just bad movies. You can't trust.
I got something to say about that. What's your take, Cal?
Well, look at the DC movies. One, I'll say when you look at the Superman movie, you have to remember I take that as that's just a brand new movie because it doesn't look the same as the other Superman movies. The other Superman movies literally were their own thing. So people coming out here, we're testing out something new and testing out something like, look, we know Superman, but he's not really hasn't been really that successful in films for the last few years. But if you look at, and I said this regarding the DC, those movies were bad. Okay, those movies were bad. Man of Steel was not a good movie. It wasn't, but it made money, so they kept making movies. Batman v Superman was not a good movie, but it made money, so they made another movie. Suicide Squad, people said they liked it. I didn't think that was the great movie either, but it made money. That movie made over $700 million. So how many movies did it take? How many bad movies or movies that people didn't like did it take before you finally got to Justice League, where people said, no, fool me once, fool me twice, fool me four times. I'm not coming out to see this particular movie. So it takes a while. It's not like one or two movies necessarily, especially not with the milieu that we had at that time. But once you get there, you're there, and then you have to like really work to get out of it.
I like exactly. That's the point I wanted to make, and
Oh,
there because Captain America. Just to give you, because I'm tired of hearing about this. Oh, Captain America was bad, but Captain America: Brave New World practically performed really on par with First Avenger. First Avenger made 370 million worldwide, while um, the Brave New World made 410 million. Right. So for a new Captain America movie, it's done pretty well in of itself, and it's reintroducing a new character, so in the role and stuff like that. Could it have been better? Yes, I could have, but the fact that it's a complete failure is a bunch of malarkey as far as I'm concerned. Then you
No,
have
it's just
the whole
you.
thing.
You remember what I said, right? Before the Superman movie, that this movie needed to be like a grand slam, that
Yeah,
it needed to make $1 billion, so on and so forth. That I was on record saying if it didn't make that money, it was probably going to be judged as a failure. And again, I was still judging it by the whole like COVID time period where look, guys would just come out and like the movie would do excellently well, not realizing no, 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 no. You've got to recalibrate. Okay, you've got to look at the numbers for right now. So I think you're being more than fair with not more than fair, accurate with the Captain America movie because they want to call it film. They want to call it a film. I'm like, it is a fresh start. This is not Chris Evans as Captain America. It's Anthony Mackie as Captain America. If you look at the numbers, those are healthy numbers for the debut of a movie. If this was a brand new franchise, nobody would have a problem with it. And then you have to try to build on it. Sorry, go ahead.
no, I mean exactly. And then you have the whole thing with the Ant-Man. Ant-Man, when it came out, everybody's like, "What the hell is that?" You know what I'm trying to say? It wasn't considered a very successful movie to begin with, the very first one, but it did 622 million. And then the second movie with Ghost did it made money too. But you have to understand that we like Cal said, we have some duds here. The people watching like, that really wasn't that great. And I think the audiences come before they were like, we're gonna drink anything in the Kool-Aid. But after a while, when you hit Justice League, when you hit Ant Man and Wasp, you're like, I don't know about that. They want to be more in line with what they want to spend, and this is why you have people once again not going to the movies all the time. The pandemic has changed how people look at things. They're like, hey, I don't have to go there. The movie's going to be out in a couple of weeks, and I watch it there
Yeah. And
properly.
then remember what Marvel did that was successful for them? They made it so that you wanted and you almost needed to come out to see these movies because
Yes,
you wanted to be connected to that larger story. You didn't want to miss out on any particular thing. So you're like, okay, I want to come over here. I saw the Avengers movie. Oh, wait a minute. There's going to be another one. Captain Marvel's going to be in between. All right, I want to watch Captain Marvel because I don't want to miss anything at the end of the day. I want to be right there. And we didn't have streaming at the time either, but they did a good job of making certain that you wanted to be clued in and you wanted to be connected. But the moment that they decided, hey, you don't really need to be connected to any of this stuff, which were their TV shows, and they couldn't let go of that blip nonsense, well, here we are.
and to just piggyback on that is that you have the whole situation that in order to watch to be informed about Captain America, you really had to watch the Captain America Winter Soldier story. To watch the Thunderbolts, you had to watch what do you call that? You have to watch the Black Widow movie that dropped in the pandemic. You have to watch her in what's the name of that other show, the Hawkeye show, to be informed about some of these characters. So if you, like you said, if you weren't watching everything, you really didn't get a good grasp of these characters going forward.
well,
And they're excellent.
I,
The Black Widow is excellent. Mackey's doing well. I don't know. Again, we have this whole contention about the name like Captain America, but I think he did a killer job and stuff like that. But then again, why did you break up the good duo of Mackey and Winter Soldier when you could have had them together, right? So there's a lot of other issues involved. I think than just simply saying Captain America isn't good in and of itself, versus some of these other movies. The decisions
well,
that were made. Sorry, Pete.
no, I'm sorry, you were still going. I thought you had, but I just only say that I think them trying to split the Winter Soldier and Anthony Mackie as Captain America is kind of the bang for your buck to say we don't trust the new Black Widow or the White Widow to carry this. Let's throw in the Winter Soldier just in case, so we can have some familiar stuff in it. But at the same time, I also think I don't know if those last numbers of them rebranding when you go to the movies and it says the Avengers, because like now if you go to there, they have it as the Avengers. So, but I mean, I just think you can't. The thing is that at this point now, um, like Tom Cruise is still up there. He's not at a billion. But these movies make kind of this money. The last was it the sixth one was probably I think the most successful in comparison to the second one. But there's a different period where people are still going. There's the blockbusters, but it's also the family thing is happening. And then when they decide to do the Transformers, this is what people go out to. But then there's also the foreign market that is a different thing where you see they want to see their stars. They want to see Brad Pitt. They want to see Tom Cruise, and they want to see their. I mean, look at the top movie. Like, good Lord, it's almost at $2 billion.
Nobody's seen that outside of China. Like 1.1% domestic. So only the Chinese are seeing that, basically. I did see it here
It's crazy though.
in Regal, but you had to see the first. This is two. The other one was a big hit.
It's two, and it's domestic is 20 is on 21 mil, and it's almost 2 billion for it. But no, at the same time, we got to look at That's why I want to support the fact that Superman did well. It did beat out the Marvel movies, and these movies with totally new casts are doing okay. We are looking at the billion-dollar numbers, and as I don't know if we got into it. I don't think Cal got to say it in this one, but he did talk about the fact that Batman Begins did well in the past discussion, and then The Dark Knight went to the stratosphere. So, and people consider, at one point, people considered The Dark Knight one of the best superhero movies of all time. So there's a period where that was like the glow of Chris Nolan. Wow, for a Batman, a roll eyes for a Batman film. Wow, that's a first. But the idea of sticking with this billion-dollar number when it comes to superheroes, when it was the Avengers. And Marvel, as I said, they got Spider-Man coming out. Who knows how many people will be in that. And they have Avengers Doomsday. So the next year is going to be a big year for Marvel. And we'll see if they do their last two properties that did $1 billion, Spider-Man and the Avengers. They have them coming back next year. The only problem is, what Avengers are we going to see? Because they had in the thing, we have Ms. Marvel in it. And we know Ms. Marvel can take your movie and bring it down like the submarine in Mission Impossible. She can do that. You remember when you saw in Final Reckoning, the submarine was going further down? That's what Ms. Marvel could do to your movie.
Oh, no, Lester, we're not even going to go there. But just to piggyback on what you were saying before, and I think we didn't even touch on this really. We're going to go back to the very beginning. Was it a misstep by Marvel to have 3 of their superhero movies front-loaded this year?
Yes.
No.
Next question.
No, I agree. No, Cal, I agree 100%. It's like they said, let's just clear the slate. Let's clear our slate, and we're going to drop everything at the same time. And it didn't give their movies enough time to properly be to breathe. Captain America had some space. Thunderbolts did not have enough space, or I felt enough promotion. I think that first of all, at the end of Captain America, you talk about him setting up a new Avengers team. Then you talk about Thunderbolts being a new Avengers team. I mean, what kind of mixed message is that? And then you have Fantastic Four. In the very end of Thunderbolts, you see a ship coming into their universe, and then they have nothing about that in the final of Fantastic Four.
Well, you know why they did that. They didn't do that because they necessarily were going to connect to Fantastic Four. They did that so they could try to get heads into seats for the Thunderbolts movie. That's why they had the whole Henry Cable cameo in Black Adam. Like, okay, let's just add this in here. We get some people to come in, tease it up a bit. That's all it was. I mean, and it's proven by the fact that when we see the Fantastic Four movie, there is no connection to it whatsoever.
No, you're right.
Connection to it.
Henry Cavill was a different story. Remember, the thought was that he was going to start a whole a whole new.
No, we can do a show on that too because I was from the once I got full information as to what was going on, and it was like a hostile takeover, and Henry Cable is being told two different things by two different people. Yeah,
He's being told this by his agent. So who's
he
ex-wife
was
of The
told
Rock.
he was already told that they were going to move in a different direction. Then he was being told, "Hey, you're coming back." Then he's being told, "No, that's not the case." So he got told two different things.
Right, but I'm saying if your agent is telling you, or manager is telling you one thing,
Mm-hmm.
and the manager
Who
Isn't
was
his
it?
agent
Who?
the isn't
Who?
agent the Rock's the isn't the
ex-wife,
Rock's
yeah,
ex-wife?
ex-wife, yeah,
Exactly.
also
Exactly.
who's also
Exactly.
right, and he's trying to take over the. He was trying to take over the DC, but you're right. That's a whole another conversation. But yeah, Marvel screwed it up. I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah. I notice when I'm right, it's a whole nother conversation, right? let's let's just leave it alone. Yeah. Okay.
Well, the other thing that also goes, the takeover also goes to Black Adam not making it to $1 billion. It
Yeah,
probably was the
yeah,
more successful movie out of the movies that DC were making, more successful than the Suicide Squad by James Gunn. Is just that he needed to hit the billion, and DC been looking for that billion for a long time, and they're like, no, we're trusting our James Gunn. We're gonna let him develop this, and then just saying like
That
Christopher
was
Nolan, maybe we'll get there.
yeah. When I finally got the full dope on that, it was hilarious because I I really thought it was a competition between Gunn and The Rock. And then you come to find out, no, it's a hostile takeover. It's a hostile takeover. And it was riding on the success, or at least The Rock was putting it on the success of Black Adam. And so, of course, Black Adam, I think the guys just stood back and said, nah, this film isn't going to do it. So we don't have anything to worry about. And it didn't. But that's where it was at the end of the day. And I'm thinking the agent coming to Henry Cable and saying, no, you're going to be a Superman, going out, say all this other type of stuff. I think that was also part of their plan and part of this hostile takeover where he was going to come out and say, see, we got Cable, we got this. And they were still like, nah, we don't care. We're not going that route. It's like, you're welcome to make your own films with him, but you won't be making them here.
Well, I will say the hard part for me. Oh,
yeah.
sorry. What's up?
I said if it had made that Billy, it would have
Yeah,
been a
the
whole.
Billy would have put him over.
Yep. But the whole idea is these guys looked at, they looked at it. I didn't, and I like Black Adam. Everybody else was a lot more critical of it. Not saying you guys, but other people who were doing reviews and such, they were more critical of it. I liked it. I didn't like I think like the choice with Hawkman didn't make a lot of sense to me. And there were things he could have like, blended into it that I think would have made it a stronger film. But I was like, hey, I didn't see anything wrong with this. But man, I was once again, I was an odd man out. Everybody was just in pile-on mode. This is terrible. This is terrible. Bam, bam, bam. I was like, okay. I was like,
Well,
okay, people got a lot of resentment right now. Got to work through it.
I think from The Rock getting such positives, and this is the first where he got, getting the back, going up against the guy from Vin Diesel, and him getting all like he's a good guy, and Vin Diesel's the bad guy, and now some people say he saved the franchise, which they put there's too many people in there to say anyone saved it, but at the same time, when this came, it was totally the reverse. It's like hostile takeover. He's like, yeah, well, the thing is, but DC, they stuck with what they want to stick with, and but the hard part is since we're still pseudo keeping with the topic, how would it feel to be with Henry Cable, where you're like, okay, we're not doing Superman. Okay, we're doing the Snyder cut. We're doing some more Superman. And the next thing you know, no, we got James Gunn. We're not doing Superman. And then he comes and he tries to bring his Superman to them, and they're like, nah, maybe not now. Then you get James Gunn. We're definitely not doing you. And then you got The Rock saying, we're doing you. Like, yes, I'm back. And then they're like, nope, we're gonna interview though. Come in and interview. Yeah, we maybe not for anything right now, but we'll keep you in mind. Good talking to you. It's like you didn't need to say that you interviewed him. He said, but as an actor, you have to come in and take those meetings, even if they go left. So, but yeah.
Oh, you're right.
So
So overall, I think Marvel messed up by putting all three of their movies in the same time, right? And not connecting better, doing a better job of advertising.
They had to pull up the bandage one way or the other. I mean, DC was in the same boat where they had stuff that was still coming down the pike, and I mean, what they had the Aquaman movie, they had Flashpoint, they had the Batgirl series, the movie that was supposed to come out, and some stuff saw the light of day, and other stuff Zaslav was like, no way in hell are we putting this out there. We're bad enough. It's bad enough as it is. What was it that he said that I agree with? We have to start working to protect the brand. I was like, yeah. So was it a mistake? Yeah, but hey, what else are you gonna do?
Yeah, I mean, so any final thoughts, Petey?
Nope, I am good. We did this one up.
All right, okay. All right, so everybody, hey, if you like what you hear, give us a thumbs up, subscribe, comment. We'd love to see what you say. We'll give you all 2 cents about it. Spinner rack.
I'm a Superman, baby.
We are out.